Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. I don't really know how to start this, so I guess we'll just get into it. Obviously, prayers for Charlie Kirk's family. Um, he was a warrior for Christ, man, and he was a huge impact on like the younger generation when it came to debates. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't I always thought the whole going to, college campus things to own, uh, stupid college kids. I thought that was kind of cringy and lame. Um, However, it did open up the door for critical thinking for a lot of people on the receiving end. And there were a lot of good conversations that were had. I don't understand the whole, the big thing now is, oh, well, he spread hate. Dude, you look at any of the comment sections anywhere, it's outlandish. Like a father will not be coming home tonight. A husband will not be coming home tonight. A son will not be coming home tonight. And I think that's something that we need to remember is like he was a human being, regardless, and I know that in the past, I know that on this podcast I do poke fun at a lot of people. Um, However, I think that wishing death upon somebody or cheering when they pass has got to be one of the most low down, crummiest, slimiest, grimiest things a person can do. You don't wish death on anyone. I'm 90% sure I've said this before on here. You don't wish death on your political opponents. You just don't. Like, you don't hope for that. But for some reason, there's a mass amount of people who are completely okay with just mocking his wife on her TikTok or, you know, saying the, and this is the one that bothers me the most. He's looking up at us right now. I I hate that quote so much with a passion. I hate that quote. My cat's getting into stuff. Hold on one second. Oh, little girl. But I think that sorry, I got a really shaky tripod right now. I think most importantly, it's worth noting that like a human being passed away today, and that's not something to just be apathetic about. I mean, you may not have known the guy, but the thing is, on the other side of the political spectrum, the people who say that he spread hate everywhere and are celebrating that he passed away didn't know him either. But because he said things that went against what they believe to be truth or what makes them feel all warm and fuzzy inside, is if it like pulls at their spirit, the things that he said, he's spreading hate. And they think it's okay to essentially cheer on the passing of someone like that. Like it didn't. It still, like I said, it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel because I didn't know the guy either, but it doesn't feel real to me because he was such a huge political figure, and he was going to be 32 this year. You know, a young father. And it didn't hit me until like I started to see, his old TikTok started to come up on my page. And it's mostly stuff with like his kids. And that's something that hang on one second. I got a better angle now. when I started to see like his old TikToks where he's talking about like the role of like a biblical husband or a biblical father, and how to be those things, and what it means, and just it's like photo, like videos of him like walking with his kids, and it's like, dude, it's so stupid. In my opinion, it's stupid that I'm feeling so kind of emotional about it in a way, but again, when a person feels empathy, it's like you can sympathize with them and that family who lost somebody, and you can either some people just put themselves in that situation, like, oh my gosh, like what would I, you know, that would be terrible. This thing picking up the anyway. I'll just hold it. Um, Kind of like putting yourself in that situation, and looking at it from the same standpoint. Like what would my kids do if this happened, or if you passed in a tragic accident or something like that. Like say it was a work accident, that'd be more likely with me. If I passed in a tragic accident, what would my kids do? What would my wife do? Um, and it's scary to think about. I'll say that. It's been a really weird day. I'll, I just the past. How does it know? The past like 8 hours, 9 hours actually, of this news story breaking and all the different theories behind it. I just it makes me sick that people are already starting the conspiracy theories. Like I have my viewpoints on them. I'm not going to speak on those. I just more so want to speak on like the impact that he had as a person and as a political figure and as a speaker. Um, and again, I didn't know him personally. Like I didn't know him at all, but I knew enough. I watched enough of his videos to know that he definitely had some sway in like what he said to people. And it wasn't like conniving. It wasn't like a gotcha moment. It was very like, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about something. Why do you think this way, or why do and I'll tell you why I think this way. And he was very like, I don't know if it was just like the Christianity in him, or if it was like the Holy Spirit flowing through him, that he was able to just be a good person. And um he definitely didn't act as if tolerance was a fruit of the spirit. Um, he acted holy, and it wasn't, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like he definitely had like Christ was living in him, and he was I'm assuming a great person. I would have loved to have met him. He was definitely able to poke fun at himself. He was able to laugh at some jokes, like the South Park thing, or um, and he was definitely able to take a not a beating, but a verbal beatdown from somebody. If and I don't know if he ever really got owned. I haven't really seen anything like that. I know I saw a lot of clips of him winning, obviously. Excuse me. But I see a lot of hate. I see a lot of people bringing it back to the words that he said about like empathy, how empathy is like a made up new age thing, and empathy is a lot more damaging than it is helpful. But I don't think they're playing the full clip of what he said, because I think there was a lot more to it than just that little soundbite that they took to prove a point. And then another comment that he had made, or quote that he said, was gun related deaths are the cost of like liberty or freedom. Obviously the Second Amendment, right? But the thing is, and this is where it gets tricky, not tricky at all. Second Amendment is to defend yourself and your citizens against a tyrannical government, not to kill each other. Okay? There's the difference there. It's not there to kill each other, it's there to defend yourself against a tyrannical government if there ever would be one, which right now, I don't know. Something doesn't seem to add up. I don't want to go too far into like conspiracy land with all this. I mean, it's very fresh. He's not even in the ground yet. So it's tough to even continue, to even talk about this right now. But the angle and the video is circulating online too, and that's a bad look. But we live in the age of the internet where it's gonna be there, you know. But the angle at which he was hit, the first video that I saw, I thought he got hit, here in the chest. I was wrong. Obviously, it was a further away video. But the most recent one that I saw that really just disturbed me and shook me to my core was a different angle where it showed where he actually had gotten hit close up, and it looked like it wasn't a random shot. That's for sure. It was a very planned out, thought out. It was a very planned out and thought out shot. It was very precise, and the one thing that I is like bringing me comfort about this whole situation, and it's not like, oh, this is so comforting for me. Like the only thing that kind of brings me comfort about the situation with him passing is that he's home finally. He's with our creator right now, and he's definitely hearing, well done, my good and faithful servant. Like that's definitely what he's hearing. I think that really does speak volumes, and it's comforting to know that. um, it's still sad nonetheless. It doesn't take the sting away, especially with his family. It doesn't take the sting away at all. I mean, that's still going to be there. Kids are going to grow up without a dad. A wife's going to grow up without her husband, or not grow. Sorry, my wife's going to continue on with her life without a husband for now. Hopefully for a while. That's so messed up. I'm not trying to say anything malicious right now. I don't want um, anything to come out wrong. What I'm saying, but I do know that there's. What was I gonna say? There was something else I was gonna say. Um. Oh yeah. So all these political figures do their little song and dance when something like this happens. They did it when that assassination on Trump, the attempt happened on him. They used their social media platforms to express their viewpoints when it comes to this. People on the right, it was more of a genuine response. But people on the left, I noticed, except there was an exception of one person on the left who tweeted something very heartfelt. Um, but a lot of the other echo chambers, like for example, Obama, Harris, Kamala Harris, Biden, Bernie Sanders, just to name a couple, the ones that I saw today, it seemed like there was a theme with what they said. Obviously, there's going to be a theme, but it was something along the lines of political violence has no place in our democracy. Um, we don't know what the motivation was. Um, Prayers for Charlie Kirk's family in these hard times, and it seemed like everything was the echo chamber of itself, and it still makes me feel like there's no genuity behind it. Is that the word? Genuity. It almost seems like they're just parroting each other and what they're saying. Chuck Schumer even said the same thing. There's no place for this political violence in our democracy. Like, okay, well, I appreciate the sentiment, and I'm sure they appreciate the sentiment and all that, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking too far into it and being gay about it. But one other thing, the person who was the exception on the left that I think had a really genuine post about it was Gavin Newsom, believe it or not. And I think a lot of that solely has to do with Charlie being on his podcast. I don't remember how many months ago it was, but and I never watched the episode. But now, we have all these clips of this gentleman that we're able to archive and save and to remember him by, even though he would have done so much more, absolutely so much more than he did. I think he started Turning Point USA when he was like 18, the CEO or co-founder. Like, wow, man, this guy was very passionate and he was very knowledgeable, and he accepted different viewpoints. He accepted all people, all walks of life to come and ask him questions. Never once was there a malicious intent. I think, no, not even when Riley Gaines was with him the last time. People were just bad mouthing him and bad mouthing her, and I don't think there was any negative word said back in reciprocation. It was very, um, very respectful. And for them to just say, oh, he's spreading hate, I don't get that. I don't understand it. I don't understand how you can say someone spreads hate when it's like they clearly don't. They clearly don't. And if it's just because they have a different opinion than you do, then you need to grow up. And it's not worth someone losing their life. It's not worth someone, some family members losing their parent or husband. It's not worth it. And I feel like I'm a broken record. But this is so serious. Like this is beyond. This almost feels like a hunt. And I know that I've been trying to do this podcast on like some sort of a moderate stance, but this has pushed me so far into the direction of the right. This has pushed me so far, and I was leaning that way anyway. This way, sorry, rather. I was leaning that way anyway, but this has been like a full force shove me into that, because this almost seems like it's a hunt. It's not even it's not even a fucking, pardon me. It's not even a coincidence that this happened. This was completely planned. And I don't know how much information we're going to get in the days to come. I doubt it's going to be a lot. I don't know if they'll even find the. I don't know if they found him. No, they mistook someone else for the shooter, but who knows? I mean, if this person was paid by the government, or you might find out they have no social media. Their apartment is completely scrubbed. Blah blah blah. All that BS that hides behind conspiracy theories. I don't think we'll be getting the full answers, but I do think that in this period of time, we need to definitely pray for the family and the wife, his wife Erica, for being thrust into this situation and the unthinkable that happened. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I saw a very interesting post today about so that one girl who was stabbed on the bus, and then there was the picture of Charlie, side by side, and it said September 2025 is when everything changed, and I'm seeing a shift on the right. I'm seeing a shift into radicalism, and it doesn't, like, I think it was Greg Gutfeld. He said, you don't find too many radical Republicans that are like willing to go violent for anything. But I mean, this is like, I feel like my cat's throwing up right now. Nasty. I hate cats, but I love her. Um, he said it doesn't take much to make or it takes quite a bit to radicalize a Republican. But this is like this is the moment. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I hope a civil war doesn't break out because of something like this. It feels weird that he was going to be 32 this year, and by the time he was going to be, by the time the next election cycle was coming around, he was going to be 35. And the age that you need to be to become president is 35. And he would have had a hell of a lot of endorsements behind him. And that's low. That's a low blow. It's crazy. And it's sad. It saddens me. It makes me kind of, somewhat weep for the future and be scared for it. But at the same time, I don't want to be scared. I don't want to have fear because I know that this story is already written, like the story of life. It's already been written, and we're just waiting for the end of it. Us believers, I mean, we're waiting for the end of it. So, but once again, this is political sanity. Appreciate you guys, and yeah, be good to yourselves and be good to each other, and take care.